And when I look at my son and my grandson, I pray 50 years from now, Kevin, I pledge to you as your grandfather that 50 years from now, you'll be able to stand and not be judged by the color of your skin. Kevin, I speak into your life. You shall live and not die. Kevin, we will work together, pray together, live together, love together, because racism in 2018 has met its match. Look at us together on one accord. So walk together, children. Pray together, children. There's a great camp meeting.
Too many of us see something and we won't say something. But if you see pain, you ought to say something. If you see sorrow, you ought to say something, because our sociology, racism, classism, poverty, our sociology has so adversely affected our biology. Lack of access to quality, affordable health care, health disparities, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, and even now COVID. In fact, I don't know a black person over 50 that ain't dealing with something. I don't know. Maybe y'all are special here, but over 50, you're dealing with something, taking pills for something, dealing with something. Why? Because your sociology affects your biology, and your biology affects your psychology. Mental health issues, stress, lack of focus, lack of sleep, addictions, abusive relationships. Your sociology affected your biology, which affected your psychology, which then challenges your theology. But I've come to grow you. Somebody say, help us, Bishop. I came to grow you so that you don't have a cotton candy Christianity, that you don't have a kindergarten lack of sophistication with your theology, by telling you sometimes your crying is a way of acknowledging that God is still able. God help me tonight, that there takes a level of faith in order for you to lament. Yeah. Biblical lamenting is holy. So I've come to encourage you, every now and then, you ought to let go of a holy holler. And I want you to know you're looking at a living miracle. Yes, you are. Because the fact of the matter is that we as black people are the most consistently Christian people in this country, and it's not out of a place of privilege, prestige, and possessions, but rather it's a deep spiritual power that was birthed out of struggle, resistance, and resilience. You ought to put your hands together and give yourself some praise, because you are a survivor. Come on, let's celebrate blacks in this country and in the Caribbean and in Africa, because we're survivors. We've come through for more than 400 years in this land. We've survived low places. First it was slavery, then it was the Ku Klux Klan, then it was legalized lynching, then it was Jim Crow, then it was housing, employment, educational discrimination. Now it's mass incarceration, health disparities, environmental racism, voter suppression, and police brutality. You can't even shop at Lenox Mall without some struggle. You find yourself being mistreated on an airplane. You can't even drive your car without being pulled over. But look at you, you're still making it. Look at you, you're still surviving. Look at you, you still have a praise in your spirit, because this joy that I have, the world didn't give it, and the world can't take take it away. I've come to testify. The fact of the matter is we are a miracle. And we are a miracle because we're thriving in the place where other folk can't survive.
I mean, just a little question. I just wanted to know, what do? You need your glasses. I'm not there yet. But what do you do? How do you handle it when you need your glasses to see, but you can't find your glasses to see, so you can't see to find what you need in order to see? We're living in a culture that needs to see, but they can't find what they need in order to see, so they can't see what they need to see. Do you see? And so I said to everybody who wears glasses, you know the answer to that question. It's not really a difficult riddle, because anybody who wears glasses will tell you when you need your glasses to see, you always have a familiar place to keep your glasses. When I go to bed at night, I know exactly where I place my glasses. And I may lose a pen, I might lose my car keys, but I rarely lose my glasses, because I have a certain place I'm always going to keep my glasses. And so I know even when I can't clearly see, I know where to reach to find what I need in order to see what I need to see. Well, I wish our young people would understand that's what the church is. The church is a familiar place, so that when things come up that you don't understand, those of us in the church can tell you we got a familiar place. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. We got a familiar place. The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I fear? We got a familiar place that we can reach when we need to see what we cannot see. But Ezekiel finds himself now and the people in a strange land. I started to just call this message Ministering in a Strange Land.
Amen. But I am even more concerned, Brother David, I am even more concerned about what is called not the nuns and not the sums, but the duns. Nuns, Malik, go to church none of the time. Sums go to church some of the time. But the duns are the ones that used to be active in the church. In fact, used to serve in leadership in the church, used to be deacons in the church, used to be ushers in the church, used to sing on the choirs, used to sit in the pulpits, used to tithe, come to Bible study, fold napkins for afternoon programs, go with the church to services in other churches, come to revival. They were so active and committed, but have gone through so much church hurt and church disappointment and pain and sorrow that they got to the place that they say, I'm done with church. I'm done with coming to service. I'm done with Bible study. And I want to suggest to you, beloved, that if we're not careful, we will find ourselves looking at spiritual graves all around our church. It is a trick of the enemy to convince the culture that the church is irrelevant. But the church and its leaders, of which I am one, are co-conspirators in the decline of the church. Now, don't give me that look. I've been preaching too long to be intimidated. I ain't scared.
because we are co-conspirators, because so many of us have drifted away from what the church really is supposed to be. So now we've got what I call celebrity church. Celebrity church is when the church is all about who the preacher is. It's about the pastor, not about the master. Celebrity church. And we go around, we really impress with an individual. And the problem with the celebrity church is that the preacher has to always do something to impress the congregation. And that's why so much of our preaching doesn't have substance, because we're trying to entertain people rather than to grow people. And I've come to tell you, if all you're being fed is Christian cotton candy from a carnival pulpit, beloved, when the trials of life come your way, you'll have nothing that will keep you through the storm. Leaders had been taken, and in the year 609 BC, Israel fell without any fights. Why? They fell because they had no spiritual strength and they had no intellectual strength. What are you trying to say, Bishop Moore? I'm saying more than 3 generations ago, there was an intentional effort by the culture to cause black young people to become so distorted to believe that to be intellectual means to be acting white. And so rather than the teachers and the educators being the respected leaders in the community, it became celebrities, athletes, musicians, and subsequently they came back and undermined religious leaders. And so all the preachers were like Reverend Leroy. For Flip Wilson, what's happening now? The pastor of the church of what's happening now. All the preachers became buffoonish and silly and ridiculous. And as a result, you talk to most in the generation today, there is no regard for leaders in the faith or in education. Are you hearing me? I know you didn't think you were going to come to a Bible study, but here's the issue. When you remove the intelligentsia and when you remove the spiritual guidance, then the culture controls you. And now our young people are struggling, and when it comes to needing help, they don't know where to go.